All right, on tonight's episode of Python and Papi, we're back inside our Super Mario Brothers project. Let's have a look at what we went over tonight. Now, yesterday, if you recall, the last thing I believe we went over was our, I think, state or environment step. This piece right here. And also, I do have to make a correction to what I told you yesterday. So I'm not running three separate codes. I did have to reevaluate. I'm running five actually. So I'm running three over in the GitHub. Then I'm running this one here to walk through code that's explaining everything that we're doing. And we're keeping track of everything that we do in the code and explaining it every step of the way. And then we have the main code here that we're going to actually build out the finished product on and then put on a GitHub. So yeah, we're actually running five versions of the code, and we did make updates today. So let's walk through. Well, I'm not going to walk through the updates right now, matter of fact, because we did add some new code and we did go over some new concepts. We did add a lot of new code to all five versions of our code. And let me see. So we added it there. We added it here. So we built basically building five versions of the same code at once, but it's what we have to do to make sure everything goes well. And I'm glad we are doing it that way because we did run into an error. I'm glad I caught it before we moved along too far. So yesterday we implemented the step or the environment dot step when we actually step inside the frame, our stack frames, and pick out a frame from that stack. Let me show you the code that we used to actually implement it. And this is the Google GitHub, the Google GitHub. This is the Google Colab, and this is the one we were building. This is the master code here. We're not going to make any changes. We're going to put all the code here that we implement, and then the test codes are the ones we're going to make the changes on. So this is the one we had yesterday. Let me comment this out actually, so I can know which one we're working on. This is new code here. We're not going to go over that yet because we're actually having issues with the code from yesterday. Like I said, I'm glad we didn't move along too fast, too quick. So it was allowing me to catch the error. So this is the one we're running right now today. The state reward done info equals environment.step. This one is the one that allows us to step inside of our stack frames and select whatever frame we want. And we had to specify we would index inside of this step, but first and foremost, we had to get past this step, which we didn't on all of our versions. So let me show you what we're working with. So here in what version is this here? This is test code 1. And as you can see with test code 1, we made it all the way through here to the state reward done info equals environment.step cell, and then it crashed invalid index to Scala variable. But here on the test code 2, it was test code 2. Test code 2, you can see that we made it to that step and we actually were able to run that cell. So yeah, now we have to figure out exactly why it worked for this one, why it didn't work for the other one, what's the difference, and which one is actually correct. Like I said, both of them may be correct at this point anyway, may be incorrect at this point or correct, depending on how we're looking at it. Because this one here, we're not picking up, you still see the shape here, the 240 by 256 by 1, when it should be picking up the 240 by 256 by 4, because we stacked our environment 4 times to give us 4 frames of the same image, so we can train 4 at once. But it's only picking up 1, so no telling if this is actually working correctly or not. But we were able to pass in the environment.step cell here. So that's that. And then in the one that it didn't work, let's go back up and have a look at that. For this one here, the one that didn't work, this one here, let's see what's going on with the environment that here. So it's not reading the shape, and this one we didn't even attempt to bring in the vec, the not the dummy vec, but the vec frame. We didn't even attempt to stack the frames in this code here. We just passed our environment straight to the dummy vec. The dummy vec is the environment that has our reinforcement learning tools, where we're actually going to work on our environment. So we didn't even attempt to pass the vec here where we stack the frames. And maybe that's the issue we're having. Maybe that's why it's coming back as an error here with this cell and not coming back as an error in the other one where we did pass the vec frame environment. So there's a difference right there. There's already a discrepancy, but we do have a possible culprit already because we're not passing the vec frame in this one, but we are passing it in the other one. And the one that is passing test code 2 is the one that's actually passing this cell here. And this one is reading an error because we're not, possibly is because we're not passing the vec frame environment. So, like I said, we do have to troubleshoot both to see why both of them are reading what they're reading. One is reading error, one is reading correct. So I want to see exactly why both of them are saying what they are saying, what's the difference is, and how we can move forward applicably. But yeah, again, that's where we're at. And like I said, I'm glad we didn't move far too quick, because we did add a lot of code here, as you can see. But again, we did catch the step that we are stuck on before we move too far ahead, so we can try to troubleshoot, make sure everything's working correctly the way it should be, so we can move forward properly. But again, of course, I will keep you posted every step of the way. For now, this is the Python Poppy. You guys stay Gucci.